Chosen one, stop right there. Do not scroll past this video. If you are hearing this voice right now, it is not because of an algorithm. It is because your spirit has been sensing a shift in the atmosphere all day, maybe even all week. You have felt it, haven't you? A pressure behind your eyes that sleep cannot fix. A restlessness in your stomach that feels like butterflies, but heavier, like something is about to happen, but you do not know what. A sudden feeling that you are waiting for something massive to arrive, but the silence around you is deafening. Listen to me closely. That is not anxiety. That is not stress. That is not depression. That is the spiritual signal that your incubation period is officially over. God has orchestrated this exact moment, bypassing distractions, to bring you this specific decree. You are not here by accident. The heavens have paused to deliver a mandate that concerns your very identity. Tonight, the waiting room is locked behind you. Tonight, you are not just hearing a message, you are undergoing a metamorphosis. What you are about to become by the end of this video is something the enemy has been terrified of since the day you were born. You have been sitting in your car, staring at the steering wheel, wondering why you feel so disconnected from the world. You have been lying in bed at 3 a.m., asking God why He is so silent. You feel like you are in a hallway between two doors. The door behind you is closed, but the door in front of you has not opened yet. And the air in this hallway is thin. It is hard to breathe. This is what we call liminal anxiety. It is the tension of the transition. It is the shaking of the cocoon right before it breaks. Most people mistake this feeling for a breakdown, but I am telling you tonight, it is a breakthrough. Your spirit knows what your mind does not yet understand. You are not falling apart. You are hatching. But listen to me, because this is where most chosen ones fail. If you click away now, you might miss the instructions for the new season and stay stuck in the hallway for another year. Do not let that happen. Stay with me until the very last second of this video, because tonight we are unlocking the Joseph metamorphosis. I am going to reveal the 3 specific signs that prove your shift has started, signs you have probably mistaken for attacks. I will hand you the 7 forms of confrontation the enemy will use to try and stop you in the next 40 days, and the exact strategy to defeat them. And at the very end, we will seal this new identity with a powerful activation ceremony that will mark you in the spirit. Do not leave your seat until the seal is set. This is your moment. Now let us go deeper. You think you are waiting for a blessing. You think you are waiting for the money to hit your account, or for that specific person to text you back, or for the job offer to come through. You think that is what will change your life. But that is the deception. That is the surface level. God is not interested in giving you a resource tonight. He is interested in changing your frequency. Because if He gives you the palace while you still have the mindset of a prisoner, you will turn the palace into a prison. Think about Joseph in the book of Genesis. We all know the story. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into a dungeon for years. He was forgotten, just like you feel forgotten, just like you feel invisible. But look at Genesis chapter 41, verse 14. The scripture says, "Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon, and he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh." Most people read right past that. They rush to the part where he interprets the dream and becomes the ruler of Egypt. But stop. Rewind. Look at the sequence. Joseph shaved and changed his clothes before he stood in front of the king. He did not go to Pharaoh looking like a prisoner. He did not wait for Pharaoh to give him a new title before he fixed his appearance. He shifted his identity in the dungeon before he ever stepped onto the throne. This is the key you have been missing. Joseph knew that you cannot carry a king's authority while wearing a victim's clothes. He had to become the ruler internally before the world acknowledged him externally. And that is exactly what is happening to you tonight. You have been praying for the external change, but God has been waiting for the internal shift. He has been waiting for you to shave off the victim mentality. He has been waiting for you to change the spiritual garments of heaviness for the garments of praise. Right now, I want you to do something with me. You do not need to move your hands. You do not need to close your eyes if you are driving. Just use your imagination. I want you to picture yourself standing in that hallway we talked about earlier. You are wearing old, heavy clothes. These clothes represent every disappointment, every betrayal, every night you cried yourself to sleep, every label people put on you. They are heavy and they smell like the dungeon. Now, in your mind, simply decide to take them off. Let them drop to the floor. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. Feel the cool air on your skin. You are standing there stripped of the past. And now, imagine a new garment being placed on you. It feels light. It feels like royal linen. It feels like authority. This is not just a visualization. This is a prophetic act. You are doing what Joseph did. You are changing your raiment before you meet your destiny. Because here is the secret that the enemy does not want you to know. The version of you that went into the fire is not the same version that is coming out. The fire did not burn you, it burned off the ropes that held you bound. You are not a survivor, you are a ruler in training. But there is a specific sign that this change has actually started. It is a sign that terrifies most people when it happens. It usually starts with a sudden, painful silence between you and the people you love the most. It feels like rejection, but it is actually protection. If you have felt this disconnection recently, if you have felt like you are speaking a different language than your family or friends, you need to pay close attention to what I am about to tell you next, because if you misinterpret this sign, you will try to fix what God is trying to sever. Sight, start, sight, 83, 85, 96, 128. That disconnection you are feeling is not an accident. It is the first layer of the Joseph metamorphosis. You see, we usually get the story of Joseph backward. We think he waited in the prison until the moment Pharaoh called him, and then because he was called, he got cleaned up. We think the external promotion caused the internal change. But look at the text again. The scripture in Genesis is very specific about the order of events. When the guards came running to the dungeon, shouting that the king needed him, Joseph did not just run out. He stopped. He shaved. He changed his clothes. Think about the psychology of that moment. He had been in a pit for years. This was his chance for freedom. Every natural instinct would scream, run to the king, immediately, ask for help, beg for mercy. But Joseph delayed his own rescue to change his appearance. Why? Because Joseph understood a spiritual protocol that you are learning tonight. He knew that you cannot enter a palace with the smell of a prison on you. He knew that he could not stand before a king acting like a victim. He had to look like the solution before he even opened his mouth. He did not clean himself up because he was already the prime minister. He cleaned himself up to become the prime minister. The identity shift had to happen in the dark before the promotion could happen in the light. And this is exactly where you are right now. God has not delayed your breakthrough. He is waiting for you to shave. He is waiting for you to change your raiment. He is waiting for you to stop identifying with the trauma of what happened to you and start identifying with the authority of who you are becoming. But how do you know if this internal shift has actually taken place? How do you know if you are just coping or if you are actually metamorphosing? There are 3 specific signs of this shift. These are not random symptoms. They are the biological markers of a spiritual upgrade. The first sign is what I call the sudden disconnect. This goes back to what we touched on earlier, but I need you to understand the theology behind it. You are sitting at a dinner table with family or friends, people you have known for 10 years, you love them. But suddenly you feel like you are watching them from behind a glass wall. You hear their conversations about drama, about politics, about the same old problems they have complained about for a decade, and you feel physically unable to engage. It is not that you are better than them, it is that you are no longer one of them. The Bible explains this in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. It says, "If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation." We hear that all the time, but we miss the power of the original Greek. The word used there for new is kainos. It does not mean new in terms of time, like buying a new phone that is just a better version of the old one. Kainos means new in kind. It means a completely different species. It is something that has never existed before. When you enter the Joseph metamorphosis, God does not just upgrade you, He rewires your entire DNA. You become kainos. And a lion cannot socialize with sheep, not because the lion is arrogant, but because the lion has a different diet. You are feeling disconnected because your spirit is starving for meat, while the people around you are content with grass. Do not try to force a connection that God is trying to sever. Joseph had to leave the other prisoners behind to stand before Pharaoh. If he had tried to stay connected to the dungeon, he would have missed the throne. The second sign that you are shifting is what I call holy agitation. This is deeper than just disconnection. This is an active intolerance for things that used to satisfy you. You used to be able to binge watch that show. Now it annoys you. You used to be able to sit through that gossip session at work. Now it feels like sandpaper on your soul. You used to be satisfied with a normal routine. Now there is a burning frustration in your chest, a feeling that you are wasting time even when you are busy. This agitation is not a sign that you are ungrateful. It is a sign that your container is too small for what God is pouring into you. Think about a crab. When a crab grows, it has to shed its shell because the old shell becomes tight and painful. The pain is not an attack. The pain is the proof of growth. If you are feeling agitated tonight, if you are feeling cramped in your current life, rejoice. It means you have outgrown the season. You are ready to molt. And this leads to the third and most dangerous sign. This is the one that will make people call you arrogant. It is the zero tolerance protocol. Just like Joseph stood before Pharaoh and did not apologize for his gift, you are entering a season where you can no longer apologize for who you are. In the past, when people disrespected you, you swallowed it to keep the peace. When people crossed your boundaries, you laughed it off. But suddenly, something has snapped. You find that you physically cannot tolerate disrespect anymore. It is not that you are angry. It is that you finally realize the value of what you are carrying. You are carrying the solution to a famine. You are carrying the wisdom of God. And you realize that if you allow people to treat you like a prisoner, you will never be able to feed them like a king. So you start saying no. You start walking away. You start closing doors that you used to fight to keep open. This zero tolerance protocol is not pride. It is the protective instinct of a ruler who knows they have a kingdom to build. But listen to me closely, chosen one. I need to be completely honest with you. This metamorphosis sounds powerful. It sounds glorious. But it is not free. There is a price tag attached to becoming unrecognizable. It is a steep price. It is a price that most people are too terrified to pay, which is why they stay in the dungeon with their friends instead of walking alone to the palace. I need to tell you about someone who paid this price just 6 months ago. They made a radical choice that looked like social suicide to everyone watching. They applied this exact protocol, and what happened to them next will make you shiver because it defies every law of logic. Let me tell you about a chosen one who watched a video very similar to this one exactly 6 months ago. Let us call him Michael. Michael was stuck in the loop of being the nice guy. He was the one everyone called when they needed money, when they needed a ride, or when they just needed to dump their emotional garbage. He was exhausted. He felt that holy agitation we just talked about. He knew he was called to build a business that would fund kingdom projects, but he had zero energy left at the end of the day because he was giving it all away to people who did not value him. After hearing about the zero tolerance protocol, Michael did not just pray about it. He took a physical action that felt like cutting off his own arm. It was a Tuesday night. I want you to picture this because you might be standing in this exact spot right now. He sat on the edge of his bed, the blue light of his phone illuminating his face in the dark. He opened his contacts list. He scrolled down to the 3 names that popped up the most. The childhood friend who only mocked his dreams, the business partner who was secretly stealing his ideas, and the family member who used guilt to manipulate him. His thumb hovered over the block button. His hand was literally shaking. His heart was hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. The enemy was whispering in his ear saying, "If you do this, you will have nobody. You will be completely alone. You are being cruel. You are being arrogant." But Michael remembered Joseph. He remembered that Joseph could not bring his brothers into the palace until he had established his authority. So Michael pressed the button. Block. 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 He put the phone down on the nightstand, and the silence in that room was deafening. For the next 3 weeks, nothing magical happened. In fact, it got worse. He felt a phantom vibration in his pocket, expecting texts that never came. He spent Friday nights staring at the ceiling, hearing the refrigerator hum in the empty apartment. He felt the crushing weight of isolation. He thought he had made a mistake. He thought he had ruined his life. But then came day 40. Michael went to a coffee shop just to be around people. He was sitting there with his notebook, sketching out the business plan he had ignored for years. A stranger walked up to his table. This stranger pointed at the notebook and asked a specific question about the diagram Michael was drawing. That stranger turned out to be an investor who had been looking for that exact concept for 2 years. They started talking, and for the first time in his life, Michael did not have to shrink. He did not have to dim his light. He spoke at full volume, and this stranger did not flinch. They resonated. 6 months later, Michael is not only fully funded, but he is surrounded by a table of lions. He realized that the space he created by cutting off the parasites was the exact space God needed to seat the partners. If he had not endured that season of silence, he would have never heard the voice of his destiny. I am telling you this story because I know what is happening in your chest right now. I can feel the resistance rising up in your throat. You are listening to me, and part of you is excited, but there is a darker shadow part of you that is terrified. This is the shadow work we must do tonight. We cannot ignore it. If we do not address this fear, it will sabotage your metamorphosis. There is a raw, unfiltered thought running through your mind. It sounds like this: if I become this powerful version of myself, if I become this unrecognizable authority, will I end up eating alone for the rest of my life? Am I trading connection for power? You are afraid that your elevation equals isolation. You look at your current circle and you realize that if you stand up straight, you will tower over them, and that scares you because you have been trained to crouch so others feel comfortable. Let me reframe this for you. That feeling of loneliness is not punishment. It is protection. It is what I call divine quarantine. When a patient is about to undergo a massive surgery, the doctors place them in a sterile room. No visitors are allowed. not because the doctors hate the patient, but because the patient's immune system is open and vulnerable. God has put you in isolation, not to hide you, but to hide you from infection while he performs the surgery on your identity. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. The scripture says, "Come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you." The word separate here in the Greek is aphorizo. It is a violent word. It means to mark off by boundaries, to limit, to exclude. It is the same root word used for the horizon. Think about the horizon. It is the line where the earth meets the sky. It is distinct. It is sharp. God is saying, I need to aphorizo you. I need to draw a sharp line between you and everything that is not going where you are going. This is not about you being better than them. It is about you being different from them. You cannot mourn the loss of commonality when God is giving you the gift of distinction, and there is deeper context here. Look at Hebrews chapter 13, verse 13. It says, "Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach." Without the camp. In biblical times, the camp was the place of safety. It was where the community lived. It was comfortable. But the glory of God, the burning presence, always appeared outside the camp. Moses had to go outside the camp to meet with God. Jesus was crucified outside the camp to redeem the world. So, this loneliness you feel, this sensation of being an outsider in your own family or workplace, is simply the evidence that you have walked outside the camp. You have left the comfort of the crowd to meet with the glory of God. You are breathing thinner air, yes, but it is cleaner air. It is the air of the summit. Right now, I want you to do a mental action with me. Do not close your eyes if you are driving, but shift your focus inward. Imagine you are climbing a high mountain. You can feel the air getting colder and crisper against your face. Below you, through the clouds, you can hear the noise of the crowd, the gossip, the complaints, the constant noise of the camp. It is loud down there, but up here where you are standing, it is silent. At first, the silence feels empty. But as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that silence filling your lungs like pure oxygen. Hold it there. That silence is not empty. It is pregnant with the voice of God. It is in this silence that strategies are downloaded. It is in this silence that blueprints are revealed. Tell your spirit right now, loneliness is the cost of entry for the counsel of heaven. I accept the silence because I desire the voice of God more than the applause of men. When you settle this in your spirit, when you stop fighting the separation and start embracing the consecration, you become dangerous. The enemy relies on your need for validation to keep you trapped. But when you no longer need the crowd to feel safe, you become untouchable. Now you are emotionally ready. You have accepted the signs. You have faced the fear of being alone. You are standing on that mountaintop in your spirit, waiting for the change to happen. You are waiting for tonight to bring the shift. But I have a confession to make. I must be completely honest with you, even if it confuses you for a moment. I lied to you at the beginning of this video. I told you that you would become something new tonight. I told you the shift starts now. But that is not the whole truth. There is a secret about time in the spirit realm that very few believers understand. The truth is, the metamorphosis did not begin when you clicked on this video, and it is not starting tonight. Something happened exactly 3 days ago in the invisible realm that you completely missed. A gavel was banged in a court that you cannot see, and a verdict was rendered about your life that has already legally changed your name. You are sitting here waiting for something to start, but heaven is watching you, waiting for you to realize that it is already finished. Let me show you what actually happened 3 days ago, because once you see this, everything you are struggling with right now will instantly crumble. 3 days ago, while you were crying in your kitchen or staring blankly at a computer screen feeling completely defeated, a court session was taking place in heaven concerning you. The enemy stood before the throne, just like he did with Job, and he presented a case for your disqualification. He pointed to your mistakes. He pointed to your fatigue. He pointed to the fact that you haven't prayed perfectly in weeks. He demanded that your next level be cancelled because you looked weak. But 3 days ago the Father stood up. He did not argue. He simply pointed to the blood of Jesus, and then he pointed to your heart. He saw that despite your weariness, you never walked away. He saw that despite the pain, you still wanted him. And 3 days ago, the gavel came down. The verdict was rendered. Access granted. The title deed to your new season was signed, sealed, and released into the atmosphere. So, when I told you that you would become something new, tonight I was speaking about the manifestation, but the legal transaction is already finished. You are sitting there feeling like a failure, but in the spirit realm, you are already walking with the authority of a ruler. The delay you are feeling right now is not a denial. It is simply the download speed. The file has been sent from heaven. It is currently downloading into your earth realm. And tonight is the moment the installation completes. You need to understand the theology of this because it changes how you fight. Look at Ephesians chapter 1 verse 3. It says, "Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places in Christ." Notice the tense, has blessed, past tense. It is already done. But the Greek word here for blessed is eulogeo. This is where we get the English word eulogy. Think about that. A eulogy is a speech given at a funeral at the end of someone's life to sum up who they were. But God eulogized you before you even started. He spoke the end from the beginning. He spoke well of you. He declared your victory. He declared your wealth. He declared your influence, and he sealed it in the heavenly places before you ever faced a single problem on earth. So 3 days ago, when the enemy tried to curse you, God simply replayed his eulogy over you. He replayed the blessing he spoke over your life before the foundations of the world. And that word overruled the enemy's accusation. You are not fighting to get the victory. You are fighting from the victory. You are not begging God to make you a king. You are a king who is currently waiting for his luggage to arrive at the airport. You might be wearing travel clothes right now. You might look tired, but your status is not determined by your clothes. It is determined by your passport. This brings us to the concept of unrecognizable authority. This is why the atmosphere in your house has felt so heavy lately. The demons in your bloodline are confused. They look at your bank account and they see lack. They look at your social life and they see isolation. But when they look at your spirit, they see a giant. They see the eulogy that God spoke over you. They see a brightness that blinds them. They are attacking you so fiercely not because you are weak, but because you are terrifying them. You are walking around thinking you are a victim, but in the spirit you look like a threat. You are unrecognizable to them. They remember the old version of you that used to crumble under pressure. But this new version, this eulogized version, this Joseph version, is standing firm. And that scares them more than anything. Right now, I want you to perform a spiritual action. Do not move your body, just shift your awareness. Imagine that there is a massive file hovering over your head. It is heavy with glory. It contains the deed to your house, the contract for your business, the restoration of your family. It has been hovering there, waiting for you to align with it. In your mind, I want you to simply say, I receive the download. Visualize that file sinking into your spirit. Feel the weight of it settling on your shoulders. It is yours. It is legal. It is finished. And because you carry this new authority, because you are legally this person, the atmosphere around you no longer has permission to bully you. You are about to learn how to walk into a room and make the demons inside it go silent without you ever saying a word. You are about to learn the protocol of the atmosphere shifter. Now that you have received the legal download of your authority, you need to learn how to operate it. You cannot walk around with a king's spirit while moving with a pauper's posture. You are about to enter environments that are hostile to your destiny. You are going to walk into workplaces that are filled with gossip, into family gatherings that are heavy with judgment, and into public spaces that are swirling with anxiety. If you do not know how to shift these atmospheres, they will eventually infect you. This is where we apply the second major framework of this video, which is the atmosphere shifter protocol. This is not just a mindset, it is a physical and spiritual way of moving through the world. It consists of 3 specific steps: entry, scan, and override. The first step is the entry. Most people walk into a room passively. They open the door and they let the energy of the room hit them like a wave. They become thermometers, reacting to whatever temperature is in the room. But a chosen one is not a thermometer. You are a thermostat. You do not read the temperature, you set it. I want you to picture the door to your workplace or the door to that family member's house where you always feel drained. Imagine your hand is reaching out to touch the cold metal of the handle. Stop. Do not turn it yet. This is the micro moment where you win or lose the battle. Before you engage the physical mechanism of the door, you must engage the spiritual mechanism of your identity. In that split second of pausing, you need to inhale the reality of who God says you are and exhale the expectation of rejection. You are not walking in to be accepted. You are walking in to establish order. The second step is the scan. As you step across the threshold, do not look at the people first. Feel the air. Is it heavy? Is it chaotic? Is it sharp with tension? You need to discern what spirit is ruling that room. Mark chapter 4 verse 39 tells us that when Jesus was in the boat during the storm, he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Notice the order. He addressed the wind first, the invisible force driving the chaos, before he addressed the waves, the visible symptom. You have been trying to fix the waves in your life, arguing with people, trying to explain yourself, trying to defend your reputation. Stop fighting the waves. Scan the wind. When you walk into that meeting and you feel the tension, realize that it is not your boss being difficult. It is a spirit of confusion trying to disrupt your peace. When you name the wind, the waves lose their power. The third and final step is the override. This is where your unrecognizable authority comes online. Once you have scanned the room, do not partner with the chaos. If the room is anxious, you do not say, "Wow, it is really stressful in here." That is an agreement with the enemy. Instead, you release the eulogy, the blessing God spoke over you. You do not even have to speak out loud. You simply project peace from your spirit. You visualize the light inside you, expanding until it pushes the heaviness out of the corners of the room. Right now, I want you to practice this override technique with me. You do not need to be in a stressful place to do this. We are going to do it in the spirit. I want you to bring to your mind a specific location where you feel the most attacked. Maybe it is your office cubicle, maybe it is your kitchen, maybe it is a specific relative's living room. See it clearly. See the lighting, Smell the air. Now imagine yourself walking into the center of that room. You are glowing with a blinding white light. You are not saying a word, but your presence is so heavy with God's glory that the shadows in the room are physically retreating. They cannot stay where you are standing. Hold that image. That is not just your imagination. That is your spiritual reality. But I need to give you a critical warning. This is the part that nobody tells you about leveling up. When you start operating as an atmosphere shifter, you are going to trigger a reaction. You see, the enemy does not bother people who are asleep. He does not waste ammunition on people who are passive. But the moment you start setting the temperature, instead of reflecting it, you become a threat. You might have noticed that since you started awakening, hostility has come from unexpected places. People who used to ignore you are suddenly irritated by you. Technology breaks when you walk into the room. Children cry for no reason. This is not bad luck. This is spiritual recognition. Look at Acts chapter 19 verse 15. The evil spirit answered and said, "Jesus, I know, and Paul, I know, but who are you?" This is a profound revelation. Spirits have a watch list. They know who carries authority and who is just pretending. The fact that the atmosphere is resisting you is the greatest compliment you could receive. It means the demons have checked your ID and they saw the name of a king. They are not attacking you because you are weak. They are attacking you because you have been identified as a high-value target. If you were not dangerous, they would leave you alone. The intensity of the opposition is proof of the magnitude of your assignment. So, when the atmosphere pushes back, do not crumble. Stand tall, smile, and realize that your light is burning so bright it is irritating the demons that have been hiding in the dark. However, knowing this is not enough. The enemy knows you have changed even before your bank account knows. He has seen the shift in the spirit, and because he knows he cannot stop you, he is going to try to distract you. He has prepared a specific script of 7 forms of confrontation designed to take you out in the next 40 days. These are not random attacks, they are calculated strategies. You need to see this script before it plays out so you can be ready to flip the table. You now have the power to shift the atmosphere, but you must understand that this new authority makes you a target. The enemy is not creative, he is predictable. He uses the same playbook he has used for thousands of years, but because most chosen ones do not know the script, they fall for it every time. Tonight, I am going to expose his entire strategy. I am going to hand you the 7 forms of confrontation that will likely come against you in the next 40 days. This is your intelligence report. When you see these things happen, do not panic. Do not ask God why he has forsaken you. Instead, recognize them as the confirmation that you are effectively terrorizing the kingdom of darkness. First, we need to look at the enemy's motivation. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." The Greek word used here for devour is katapino. It does not just mean to bite or to wound. It translates to drink down or to swallow whole. It implies drowning someone. The enemy is not trying to scratch you. He is trying to swallow your destiny. He wants to drown your new identity in the problems of your old life, so that the seed of greatness inside you never gets a chance to breathe. He knows he cannot touch your spirit, because that is sealed by God, so he targets your soul and your circumstances to get you to surrender your authority voluntarily. And he does this through 7 specific traps. The first trap is the financial counterfeit. This is the most common and the most dangerous. Within days of you accepting your new identity, an opportunity will likely present itself. It will look like the answer to your prayers. It will be a quick way to make money or a job offer that pays more than you have ever made. But listen to your spirit. There will be a check in your gut. There will be a subtle compromise attached to it. Maybe it requires you to be dishonest. Maybe it connects you with people who have a dark energy. Maybe it just distracts you from your true calling. This is what I call the Ishmael blessing. It looks like the promise, but it is birthed out of impatience, not alignment. The enemy knows you are tired of struggling financially, so he offers you a shortcut. But if you take the bait, if you eat from the enemy's table, you give him legal access to your future. The counter-strategy here is simple. Remember that you are a king. A king does not eat from the trash just because he is hungry. You wait for the table that God prepares in the presence of your enemies. If you have to compromise your peace to get the pay, it is not a blessing, it is a trap. The second trap is the Lazarus relationship. Suddenly, out of nowhere, people from your past will start reaching out. An ex who broke your heart 3 years ago will text you at midnight. A friend who betrayed you will comment on your post. They will say they miss you. They will say they have changed. Do not be deceived. They do not miss you. They miss the access they had to your light. They sense in the spirit that you have leveled up, and they want to reattach themselves to you before you get too far out of reach. This is a distraction designed to drag you back into emotional cycles that you have already graduated from. If you engage, if you reply, you are reopening a door that God shut. The counter mindset is this: you are a new creation. The version of you that they are looking for no longer exists. Do not resurrect what God has buried. The third trap is the comparison sniper. The enemy will suddenly flood your social media feed with people who seem to be doing exactly what you are called to do, but they are doing it better, faster, and richer. You will see someone half your age succeeding in your field. You will see people with less integrity getting more recognition. This is designed to trigger the spirit of envy and discouragement. The enemy wants you to look at their harvest and despise your own seed. But remember the eulogy. God has already spoken your end. Your race is entirely different from theirs. When you feel that sting of jealousy, recognize it as the enemy trying to get you to curse your own timeline. Switch immediately to praise. Thank God for their success, because it proves that the blessing is in the neighborhood. The fourth trap is the voice of the imposter. This attack happens entirely in your mind. You will wake up one morning feeling completely unqualified. A heavy cloud will settle over you whispering, "Who do you think you are? You are a fraud. You are making this all up. God didn't speak to you." This is the direct attack on your identity. It tries to override the legal verdict we talked about earlier. When this happens, do not argue with the voice. You cannot out-reason a demon. Instead, rely on the verdict. You say, "My feelings are irrelevant. The court of heaven has ruled. I am who God says I am." This is not about your confidence, it is about God's competence. The fifth trap is weaponized isolation. We talked about the holy agitation, but the enemy will try to twist this into abandonment. He will whisper that you are alone because you are unlovable, not because you are chosen. He will try to make you feel like an outcast, like a reject. He wants you to become bitter towards people so that you disconnect from the very ones you are sent to help. Recognize the difference between divine solitude and demonic isolation. Solitude is the presence of oneself. Isolation is the absence of others. God gives you solitude to strengthen you. The enemy uses isolation to weaken you. When you feel lonely, shift your perspective. You are not buried, you are planted. The sixth trap is the premature celebration. This is subtle. You will get a small win, a little breakthrough, and the enemy will tempt you to take your armor off. He wants you to get comfortable. He wants you to think the war is over when a battle has just been won. Many chosen ones lose their destiny because they settle for the appetizer and stop pressing for the main course. Stay vigilant. Celebrate the win, but keep your sword in your hand. The enemy waits for the moment you relax to launch his counterattack. Your motto must be, "I am grateful, but I am not finished." The final and most lethal trap is identity amnesia. This happens when a crisis hits. Maybe your car breaks down. Maybe you get a scary health report. In that moment of panic, the enemy wants you to forget everything we have discussed tonight. He wants you to revert to your default setting of fear and victimhood. He wants you to react like a pauper instead of responding like a king. He is checking to see if the identity shift was real or if it was just an emotional high. He is applying pressure to see what comes out of you. If fear comes out, he knows he still has a hook in you. If power comes out, he knows he has lost you. So in the next 40 days, when something goes wrong, do not react immediately. Pause. Take a breath. Remember the file you downloaded. Ask yourself, how would the unrecognizable authority handle this? Would a king panic over a flat tire? Would a queen fall apart over a rude email? No. You handle business. You command the situation. You do not let the situation command you. Knowing these 7 forms of confrontation is half the battle. You can now see the chessboard. You can spot the traps before you step into them. But I know that in the heat of the moment, when the pressure is real, it is hard to remember all of this. You need something to anchor you. You need a daily protocol that locks you into this frequency before you even check your phone in the morning. Knowing the strategy is one thing, but holding your position every single day is another matter entirely. I want to give you a final anchor, a small but powerful ritual that, if you do every morning, will make you unshakable. It will seal this identity into your spirit so deeply that no demon in hell can scratch it. Let me prove to you that this works. I know a chosen one named Sarah who was exactly where you are. She had just accepted her identity as a ruler, but her bank account was still screaming poverty. 3 days after she made the shift, she received an email offering her a quick partnership that promised to wipe out her debt in a month. It looked like a miracle. But because she had studied the warfare playbook, she recognized the financial counterfeit. She felt that check in her gut. She realized that accepting this money would require her to compromise her values and align with people who did not carry her spirit. Old Sarah would have taken the money out of fear, but new Sarah remembered that she was a queen, and queens do not eat from the trash. She sat at her computer, her hand trembling, and she hit the decline button. She chose her dignity over the quick fix. For 3 weeks, nothing happened. The silence was loud. The enemy whispered that she was a fool. But then, on the 22nd day, her phone rang. It was a legitimate offer from a kingdom-aligned source that was exactly double what the counterfeit had offered. She passed the test, and the level unlocked. You are going to face that same email, that same phone call, that same choice, and when you do, you will remember this moment. But I know the question burning in your mind. You are thinking, I feel powerful right now while I am listening to you, but how do I keep this feeling when I wake up tomorrow and reality hits me in the face? How do I maintain this frequency when the video ends? You need an anchor. I am giving you a 3-minute protocol called the Morning Seal. You must do this every single day before you engage with the world. Here is the rule. When you wake up, do not touch your phone, do not check the news, do not let the world download its chaos into you before you have downloaded heaven. Instead, sit on the edge of your bed, place your feet flat on the floor, and speak the eulogy over yourself. You say out loud, I am who God says I am. I am an atmosphere shifter. I am a ruler in training. Today, I do not react to the waves, I command the wind. It takes 3 minutes. But this simple act sets your spiritual thermostat for the next 24 hours. It reminds your spirit, who is in charge, before the enemy gets a chance to speak. And as you do this, you are preparing for the greatest shift of all, the vindicated victor. David wrote about this in Psalm 23 verse 5. He said, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." We quote this, but we miss the drama of the scene. God does not just feed you, He sets a table, He makes it a banquet, and He does not remove your enemies, He forces them to watch. This is your vindication. The very people who laughed at your construction are going to have to watch your coronation. The family members who treated you like a black sheep, the bosses who overlooked you, the friends who betrayed you, they are all going to be sitting in the audience while God serves you the main course. They cannot touch you. They can only watch. You are not just going to survive, you are going to be publicly honored in the exact places where you were privately shamed. Now, I need you to get ready. We have arrived at the moment of activation. We are going to seal every framework, every revelation, and every decree we have spoken in this video. This is not a passive prayer. This is a coronation ceremony. If you can, I want you to stand up physically. If you cannot stand, then sit up straight. Pull your shoulders back, lift your chin, put your hand over your heart. We are going to lock this in. In the mighty name of Jesus, I declare that the atmosphere in this room is now open. I decree that the portal of heaven is active over you right now. Father, I present to you this chosen one. You have seen their tears in the dungeon. You have seen the years of betrayal, the nights of confusion, and the pain of the process. But tonight, we declare that the incubation is over. We acknowledge that the crushing was not to destroy them, but to create the oil that is now flowing over their life. I seal the Joseph metamorphosis over your spirit. I declare that the victim mentality is stripped off you right now like a filthy garment. I clothe you in the royal robes of your true identity. You are no longer a prisoner of your past, you are the architect of your future. I seal the atmosphere shifter protocol into your hands and feet. I decree that from this moment forward, you will no longer be a thermometer that reacts to the room. You are the thermostat that sets the temperature. When you walk into chaos, order will manifest. When you walk into darkness, light will dominate. I bind the spirit of the imposter that whispers, "You are not enough." I bind the spirit of the financial counterfeit that tries to buy your birthright. I bind the spirit of isolation that tells you you are abandoned. I silence them now by the blood of the Lamb. They have no jurisdiction in your court. I declare over you the eulogy of the Most High. You are blessed in the city and blessed in the field. You are the head and not the tail. I decree that within the next 7 days you will see a physical manifestation of this shift. You will see a door open that no man can shut. You will see the table prepared in the presence of your enemies. Chosen one, I have a question for you. Do you accept this mantle? Do you accept the weight of this glory? Do not just think it. Open your mouth and say yes. Say it again, yes. Heaven has heard your answer. The transaction is complete. The file is installed. You are no longer who you were 10 minutes ago. Do not go back to the dungeon. Do not apologize for your crown. Walk as a king. You are dismissed.